Buttery memes. Chuck Norris has been exposed to coronavirus. The virus is now in quarantine for 14 days. Who flipped up this meal? Me. It's delicious. Breaking news. Chuck Norris kills coronavirus. Chuck Norris eats coronavirus for breakfast. Chuck Norris doesn't need any toilet paper. He will just hold it until the pandemic is over. Chuck Norris has a grizzly bear carpet in his room. It's not dead, it's just afraid to move. In an emergency, 911 calls him. Chuck Norris was in all the Star Wars movies. He was the Force. Chuck Norris once fought Batman for a bet. The loser got night shift. Chuck Norris kicked the world once. It hasn't stopped spinning. Chuck Norris was here. And he chose scissors. I heard you were bitten by a king cobra? Yeah, I was. But after 5 days of excruciating pain, the cobra died. Chuck Norris likes his meat so rare, he only eats unicorns. Chuck Norris once flushed a condom. 3 weeks later, the Ninja Turtles were born. The coronavirus is taking extra precautions against Chuck Norris. Chuck Norris as a child. Chuck Norris blood type is A-K47. Chuck Norris recently had the idea to sell his urine as a canned beverage. Chuck Norris doesn't blow out the candles on his birthday cake. He suffocates them with the weight of his stare. Chuck Norris, under his beard there is only another fist. Looks like Chuck Norris found a fidget spinner. Chuck Norris will never have a heart attack. His heart isn't foolish enough to attack him. Chuck Norris walk down this sidewalk. Chuck Norris doesn't get the flu shot. He shoots the flu. Chuck Norris, Jesus can walk on water, but Chuck Norris can't swim through land. Chuck Norris, first time at the beach. Chuck Norris doesn't count sheep when trying to sleep. He counts victims. How long does it take Chuck to cook a turkey? It depends on how long he stares at it. Chuck Norris can cut through a hot knife with butter. In case of Chuck Norris, stop, drop, and die. Chuck Norris doesn't wear a watch. He decides what time it is. Chuck Norris can make memory foam forget. Chuck Norris the early years. Chuck Norris doesn't need a GPS. He decides where he is. Chuck Norris doesn't dial the wrong number. You answered the wrong phone. When Chuck was in middle school, his English teacher assigned an essay, "What is courage?" Chuck received an A+ for turning in a blank page with only his name at the top. Plays Battleship with the Navy. I once strangled a robber with a cordless phone. There is no such thing as global warming. I got cold so I turned up the sun. Chuck Norris practices social distancing by putting people 6 feet under. Ghosts sit around the campfire and tell Chuck Norris stories. Batman's phone only rings when Chuck Norris doesn't answer his. Chuck Norris had a bean burrito for lunch. When Chuck Norris steps on a Lego. Toilet paper of Chuck Norris. Let's be honest, Chuck Norris is just a dumb actor. If he were really that good, he would come to my house and smack my head on the keyboard. HGFGGFGTH plus equals FGG plus GHF. Chuck Norris. Legendary creature. When Chuck Norris enters play, all creature with ninja in their creature type die. I use hot sauce as eye drops. Once dug a hole with a spoon, also known as the Grand Canyon. Chuck Norris can bake a cake in the freezer. Dinosaurs once crossed Chuck Norris. Once. Chuck Norris. Chuck Norris is invincible. Nothing can stop this card. In addition, it also gets 2 uses per turn. Slay all opponent cards in play. Keep all opponent cards affected permanently. When God said, "Let there be light," Chuck Norris said, "Say please." Chuck Norris grinds his coffee with his teeth and boils water with his rage. Chuck Norris doesn't breathe. He holds air hostage. Chuck Norris destroyed the periodic table. He only recognizes the element of surprise. Chuck Norris once passed 6 kidney stones. They were subsequently collected by Thanos and embedded in a gauntlet. Chuck Norris will always kill you with a smile. Chuck Norris plays soccer with a bowling ball. Chuck Norris doesn't take showers. He takes blood baths. Chuck Norris. The early years. Chuck Norris heard that nothing could kill him, so he tracked down nothing and killed it. Chuck Norris toothpicks. How Chuck Norris plays baseball. They wanted to put Chuck Norris on Mount Rushmore, but the granite wasn't tough enough for his beard. Chuck Norris once participated in the running of the bulls. He walked. Chuck Norris uses pepper spray to season his meat. Chuck Norris doesn't have a bank account. He just tells the bank how much he needs. When I slice onions, onions cry. Chuck Norris must have shot the bullet. No, Chuck Norris just threw the bullet. Chuck Norris, he doesn't eat marshmallows with his cereal. Chuck Norris doesn't predict the future. He tells it what to do. Chuck Norris puts the laughter in manslaughter. Chuck Norris doesn't mow his lawn. He dares it to grow. Name: Chuck Norris. Age: 18 months. Chuck Norris can never fill out online form because he will never submit. When I want your opinion, I'll beat it out of you. Giraffes were created when Chuck Norris uppercut a horse. What does the fox say? Whatever Chuck Norris tells it to. Breaking news: Chuck Norris takes up cycling. Chuck Norris forgot his keys. Chuck Norris. Daughter. Looked at Medusa. She turned to stone. Chuck Norris's tears cure cancer. He has never cried. Only 2 things will survive doomsday: cockroaches and Chuck Norris. The roaches, however, will not survive Chuck Norris. Chuck Norris doesn't stub his toe. He stubs the sidewalk. When Chuck Norris creates a login, it tells him password not strong enough. He then types in his name and it tells him password too strong. Chuck Norris doesn't need Twitter. He's already following you. Be sure to like, share and subscribe, or else Chuck Norris will come for you. See you next time.